Hello, Country Changers. I'm joined by Jane Harris today, who lives in Finley in Berrigan Shire. And I'm really excited to talk to Jane because she's had a really diverse life and very amazing professional career. So thank you for joining us, Jane.
Oh, thanks for having me, Leticia.
So, as I mentioned very briefly in the lead in, you have had a really interesting journey through your life. You were actually born in and bred in Finley in Berrigan Shire. Just tell me, I guess, your journey away and then coming back.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I was born in Finley, and in fact, my parents were both, I think, born in Finley. So we've been around for a little while, and I'll often say Finley kind of runs through my blood. And I grew up loving life in Finley. I had a really idyllic, beautiful childhood, and then I went away to university at the end of year 12. And when I went away to university in year 12, I never ever thought I'd return. I was heading off to big city lights. So I spent a bit of time doing that in Canberra. I was at university in Canberra, and then I worked in Melbourne for a while. My background and my career is in HR and organisational development. And so in the early 2000s, I had the opportunity to return to the area to work with Sunrice, which is a very proud rural brand in Australia, the rice food experts. I worked with them for a while in an regional HR role before I moved overseas. So I headed over to Scotland and worked in Edinburgh for a while and then London. And then as the fairy tale goes, I fell in love with a farmer and returned back to the Berrigan Shire and a farm just outside of Finley. So I sort of did the full circle and came back a different person to a different place and have not regretted it one single day since I arrived home.
So many people tell us that story that they met a farmer and fell in love. I guess that's how they made a hit TV show out of it, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's a
Yeah.
popular formula. Yeah.
In terms of your professional career, um, I just tell us a little bit about that because moving to London, working in Edinburgh as well, these are very different cities. Um, what was the journey like for you coming back? Were you concerned that your professional sort of dreams would have to be put on hold or diverted? What was that experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, particularly as I think I was in my late 20s. And you are, well, I was and still remain very career focused. So it was a big decision to leave the city and leave brilliant corporate job and lifestyle to come. And people often said, you're coming back. And it was like, well, I feel like I'm a different person. And so it wasn't like I was returning to everything that before. I was a very different person. This was a different area. And I was maybe a little bit concerned about what that would mean for my career. What it eventually meant for my career was I started consulting when I came back because I really wasn't sure what do you do when you're leaving, the middle of London, a job with a global company and coming back to a farm in Myrtle Park outside of Finley. And so I started my own consulting business. I had a business partner for about 10 years. Actually, we worked together for about 10 years. And I've never been short of opportunities to do work that I really love. And the work that I love is working with organizations to build workplaces that people love to work. So I specialize in areas around leadership development and all of those human behaviors in workplaces that make them organizations we love to work in. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of work that I do now.
Just showing your some of the your website now
Yes.
and
Yeah, yeah.
you do. You've obviously got a great um, round of programs and whatnot. What has been sort of the main difference for you working with global organizations and then coming back with some of those organizations more regionally?
Yeah. So the main differences is that yeah, when I first came back, I was working initially a lot with a Melbourne-based company, and what I found was that they were forever kind of placing me with rural and regional businesses, and they'd often the feedback I would get was, um, when I came in to facilitate leadership development programs and work with leaders in rural and regional areas was that it's a special kind of language. You have to be able to relate. You have to be pragmatic and practical, suited and booted. It doesn't really land when you're coming in to talk to people about how we lead in rural and regional areas. Because it's a different operating environment. So I think the combination of growing up in a rural and regional area, going away and developing corporate skills and working in big organisations across diverse projects, and then being able to bring that back and make it practical and applicable in regional and rural organisations, I like to think I've been able to add value, with the people that I've worked with, bringing those global skills and making them relevant and relatable in a rural and regional context.
Yeah, I like the it is working with different types of people, and in some they're just salt of the earth. No BS, no fluff. It's just straight to the core of it.
Yeah.
It's all built around relationship, which is really different, but really beautiful.
Yeah, and you live and die by your reputation in rural and regional areas. So it's really important that you are able to develop rapport and good relationships and connection and relate and offer a great deal of respect for the work that is done in the regions. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you left as a 16-year-old or around that,
18, yeah, yeah.
and then came back as an adult. What differences did you? I know you probably were visiting in between, but what differences did you see between that time, and did you see it through a different lens? Because I'm sure you've also seen changes over the past 20 years.
Yeah, it's significantly different in many ways. And yet I can still walk into any place in Finley and feel like it's home and like I belong there. However, that said, water policy has not been great to us in this region, and it has changed the dynamic. Agriculture and farming has shifted. We have fewer families on farms and bigger farms as a result, with some corporate investment. So the population of people living in our community has changed. I I think leaving as an 18-year-old, I didn't think that there was much on offer here, and I thought I had to get out. Coming back as a near 30-year-old and now raising a family in this area, I realised how naive and how narrow that view was. And I think increasingly I am seeing more and more and more opportunity. I think the cities have changed as well. So it's, I could talk about it changing here, but I also think bigger areas have changed, which has opened up great opportunity for Finley and the Berrigan Shire region. For a long time, the Berrigan Shire was slow moving. So there wasn't a lot. You saw a lot of other rural communities and regional communities moving ahead really quickly, taking advantage of the opportunities that presented at those times. And I think we were able to hold on to some, sort of, when I say traditional, but what we had remained really good and great for a long time. What I'm really impressed with at the moment is the way that the Shire is open to innovation and opportunity. And I'm seeing that everywhere. I feel like every idea that gets presented at the moment, someone's willing to back it and support it and try and bring the future to our region, where there's some pretty quick gains to make and lifestyle improvements that are happening. So
could you give us a couple of examples of that? And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is actually bring up a Berrigan Shire map. I realized I probably should have done that at the beginning so people can actually see where Berrigan Shire is if they haven't been there. So do you want
to for sure, Laticia, I have to say, whenever I talk about and people say, where is Finley? I say, well, go to Google Maps and type in center of the universe and it will take you directly to where we are. So because it is the center of my universe, and I do think it is arguably one of the best places in Australia. And I've also lived abroad, so I would nearly say in the world. So that's where we are. Yeah, we're just over the border into New South Wales. So we arguably get the best of both worlds there. We're a short 3.5-hour trip to Melbourne. And we're within very easy access of Albury and Shepparton and Deniliquin as sort of main centres, and off to Wagga as well. So we're really well positioned. It often feels pretty villagey in our area, particularly the Berrigan Shire. From Finley, it's 10 minutes up the road to Berrigan. It's 10 minutes up the road to Tocumwal. It's 20 minutes to Jerilderie, just out the road to Blighty. So and then you've got beautiful Berruga, and that stretch between Berruga and Tocumwal all the way along the Murray. So it's a really beautiful part of the world, diverse landscape, and different opportunities. So that's where we are. Now, I've forgotten your question about that.
So we were talking about the I guess the maturity, particularly around opportunities
Oh,
and
yeah, the opportunities.
to jump on.
Yeah, yeah. An example of an opportunity that, well, and in particular the Shire, there's a couple of really easy ones that I can think of. So in Tocumwal, we have a restaurant called The Bend, and it was built in a new building on the Murray. And the views over the Murray River are spectacular. They're so beautiful. The restaurant's just divine. It's a really lovely place to go and just be on a Saturday afternoon, or go out for dinner for a special occasion, or even just because you want to go out for dinner. But I believe, and I probably need to research this a bit more, but I believe it's one of the only restaurants along the Murray River that has full Murray River frontage view. I know there used to be a really great one at Echuca, but it was replaced with the visitor centre there, I think. But this one, yeah, the Bend, I mean, Tocumwal, if you're looking for that weekend lifestyle, is a beautiful place to go and visit. There's some great coffee shops, divine food. You can see the website. Like, the Bend is really a sign of the innovation in this area. So the building was built by the Shire. They saw an opportunity, invested in the capital, and then have been able to attract what is nothing short of like top class business to the region. So, and it's actually been driven by locals as well. So locals were the ones that saw the opportunity and then partnered, leased the building, and came in and opened up the Bend restaurant. So, like, a really great example of the Shire working with business to make that happen. Another one was, I come to you from my farm office. So we obviously, as I said, we have a farm business as well. And that can be a little bit isolating when you're working from home all the time and running your own business. So a couple of years ago, I, through the business chamber, approached council. They had some building space that was available, and we've partnered with them to open a co-working space. And the co-working space has got desks and meeting rooms and fast internet and printing equipment. It's located at the back of the library. And you can become, if you can find yep, there it is. So you can reserve a desk, reserve a meeting room, and for a very small fee, go in and work with other people who are working in various different industries locally. We find that's really popular as well with people that are coming back to visit family and friends in the region. So a lot of people over the Christmas period coming back, bring the kids back to stay with mum and dad, and then they go and work out of the co-working space for 2 weeks to extend their stay. Yeah, so that was another example where council just said yes. Council said, yeah, what if we think that this can support people to work in our region and have a lifestyle that is equal to anywhere else, and I would argue better, then they've been really supportive of it. So that's just a couple of examples.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also very supportive of helping people make that transition. So if you head to the Country Change website, go to our places, look for Berrigan Shire Council, you'll find some information about the towns and villages, some of which Jane's mentioned, but also some contact information for Berrigan Shire. You can also reach out to us directly if there are specific questions or contacts you'd like to make. But we, between our networks, what we're able to do is really offer a great opportunity for those people looking to make a country change as to what opportunities there might be, what gaps there are, the industries and opportunities there. Jobs Riverina Murray is also a great platform to jump on to see what jobs are being advertised in region. But as Jane said, there are so many opportunities for you to start your own business, work remotely, or create a consulting or a business that's really needed in region. And that's where those contacts can really be helpful. So be sure to jump on the website. Before we wrap up, Jane, any other words of advice for people, particularly professionals who might be interested in making a country change to Berrigan Shire?
Oh, I mean, do it. Like, just do it. Just come. And if you haven't been to the region, come and visit anyway. It's a surprise. It's Finley used to be called the jewel on the Newell, and maybe that was a slogan we'd invented for ourselves. It's certainly Berrigan, Finley, Barooga, Tokemall. Come and have a look. The opportunities, talk to people. If you know, yeah, just walk into the shops, talk to the people, talk to the locals. You'll get the same message from pretty much everyone you talk to. It's a great place to live. We've got great education opportunities for our kids. Yeah, and I mean, I can't encourage people to do it. I really love the lifestyle that we've built, that my friends around me have built, and yeah, it's it's a great place to live and work.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us and really appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.